All right, good morning, everyone. This is Highback Heritage Woodworks. My name is Andrew. Sorry, first time going live, so don't know how well this is going to go, but I think today I'm going to do some of my Chevron Pattern trellises. Might even get into spraying some of these planters that I've got. Do a little shop organization, just hang out and get to know some of you guys. Look forward to it. For some reason, I can't figure out how to go live from my phone, but it is allowing me to go live from the computer. So, hey, whatever. We'll do what we got to. It's a little bit of a chilly morning. Gotta run, go grab some coffee. Gotta have the coffee. I'm gonna go do that real quick. I'll be right back. How's it going? Got a couple people who tuned in. How's it going? Got a couple people who tuned in. Hold on, sorry. Let's see who we got here. Elio Ramirez and I'm Moran Wood Turning. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is my first live stream, so bear with me. Don't really know what I'm doing, but hopefully we'll have some fun. At the beginning, I mentioned today gonna do some cedar trellises. Might spray the cedar boxes that we made, and probably just some general shop cleanup and just hang out and get to know each other. Yes, I did hit that 50. Wasn't able to figure out why, but for some reason it was not wanting to let me do it from my phone. So I did a little research and found out it's easier to go live from your laptop. So that's where I'm coming to you from. Thank you. So how long have you guys been doing the YouTube thing? Are you guys established creators, just people who enjoy watching, or what's your guys' story? right, I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me find my goggles. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but these are actually Carhartt. Picked them up here. Yeah. Local, I think is it Bomb Guards? Yeah, Bomb Guards. They're great glasses because they seal all the way around. I wear contacts and really hard to do. Find a good pair of goggles that actually keeps everything out of your eye. So if you've ever worn contacts and done woodworking, you know how much fun that can be. All right, so we're gonna start. First thing, we're gonna come over to the table saw and raise that blade up. This is a project I saw, I believe, 2 years ago. Matthew Peach at Perch. If anyone knows how to pronounce that, please put that in the chat so I can actually learn. And adapted it, made my own. Came up with the Chevron Pattern design, and people have ate it up. I probably sold around 100 of these things for $50 a piece. Really starting to kick off lately. But anyway, when you set up your table saw, make sure you're only leaving a couple teeth up. You don't want anything more exposed than necessary. The more blade exposed, the easier it is to not be part of the 10-digit club. So we're going to go ahead and rip some strips down. Bear with me. Watch your ears. Can everyone hear me okay? Does everyone hear me? I think we're good. All right. Anyway, go ahead, sit up and rip those 1-inch strips. Actually, just got an order for, I normally make them in the 6-foot lane, but had an order off Marketplace last night where gal wants an 8-foot one. So I might dabble into that. Okay. I'm trying to clear off some of this junk we got here. Desperately need to do a deep shop cleaning. That'd be good to get that done. I might have some of this stuff here, but there's way too much junk on this saw. There we go. Unfortunately, do not have a dust collector. I did for many years. One point pawned it when I was younger. Helped take care of my boys when I met my wife. And all right, so we're gonna go ahead and rip some strips. I do have some drop here that should work just fine off of some of the other projects. So let's get those ripped down. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I do not have enough power in the shop. It's a little bit cold this morning, so have 2 heaters running, and apparently 2 heaters in the table saw is too much. Let me go reset that breaker. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. We're going to turn the heaters off. Just going to have to man up and deal with the cold. How many people we got watching? Just one? Hey, one is worth it. I do already have some 1-inch strips cut, but I went ahead and ripped up 5. Just to be sure I have enough. Let's check in on this chat. Critical live stream. What is that? Anyway, get this drop out of the way. Got to come up with some way to get rid of some of this quicker. Time to have a fire with the wife in the backyard. All right, now I'm gonna show you guys the jig that I've made for making these. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and drop the table saw back down. Right now, got room for other benches in this shop. One in the back of the shop has a whole bunch of standalone tools, router, all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna try to work on a solution where I can have that more freed up. Anyway, all right, we got that out of our way. So here's the jig I made. Maybe as tall as I am. We're gonna go ahead and throw it up here on the table saw, and we'll start creating. So the first thing we're gonna cut is our long strips. We're gonna go here and here. I originally made these. Here, let me try putting you on the lathe, see if I can get a better view. There we go. Bad lighting though. All right, bear with me, guys. Is that better? A little bit. So originally when I made these, I was making them just the full length of a picket. And on the ends here, I would design this jig where you could run it through and your leg would stick out the very end. I drive a Cadillac SRX right now, and unfortunately it's a little bit hard to transport 15 to 20 of these in the back of it all the way to Denver. So I've now designed them to take the legs off. When you take the legs off and bolt them on, it also makes it easier. Here in Colorado, it's almost impossible to drive anything into the ground without hitting rocks. So that killed two birds with one stone. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and cut those to length. Try the ruler. I cut those at 62 1/8. I made 3 of those. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I promise next time this will run a little bit smoother. Wasn't really prepared. I just got excited that it was letting me go live. Square off the ends of these. Who's my one loyal follower right now? Is that you, Uncommon Woman, or is that I am wood turning? One down. Don't like that one because it's got a knot. I wouldn't worry about it if it wasn't one of the main supports. We're going to save that piece and use that to cut some of our shorter pieces so we can cut around that knot. Skip that one too. I think I can get it out of this. Oh, it's so much thicker than the rest. Let me see what else I got in the 1-inch file. A nice straight piece. I'm going to take this buzz off this. Damn near perfect. Gotta get it right. Drop them into place. That's kind of a pressure fit. Means we got it just right. Now we're going to be doing right here 20. I need to redo this jig because it's lost a little bit of its squareness over time. Just because, I don't know if you can see these, but that gap that I was talking about that I left for the feet that were naturally attached, they're not going to work. Over time, that's loosened and that's widened out a little bit. So, anyway, we'll take the measurement off this side, 23 1/4. So let's go ahead and cut those. Got 2 of those to cut. One thing I do not like about working with pickets is as they dry, there's just so many different thicknesses. If you plane them or join them, you're losing the natural rusticness of them. Oh, 23 1/4. Beautiful. There we go. Perfect. I don't know what is up with this batch. Normally I don't have this many nuts. I must not have spent nearly as much time picking these ones out. People always look at me crazy when I'm in depot leafing through pickets, trying to find super straight and no knots. Alright, so now we got our frame. Got our piece down here on the bottom. Can't wait until I can figure out how to do this on my phone. It'll be a lot easier. And then we got our piece up here. So bear with me, watch your ears. I'm going to turn on the compressor for a moment and get ready to assemble this. And we'll go from there. Sorry guys, I've got a leaky compressor. It takes a little while to fill up. I had to add an auxiliary tank to it to even be able to keep using it. Part of the reason I'm doing this. You guys have any questions? You guys getting out in the shop today? All right, sorry about that. Little things I'll learn as I go. All right, so when I'm putting these together, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna add a dab of glue at the top here, 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 down here, here, and here, and that's where I'm gonna start the assembly. Because because the sides don't have a end to the jig, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that's pushed forward all the way. There we go. That in place. Got our air hose and our nail gun. Only the finest tools here at Highback Heritage Woodworks. And now bottom. Still working on doing the editing, but I bought one of these guys, and these are amazing. You guys have no idea how much of a game changer these are if you haven't already used the GlueBot. The control, the precision. I'll show you the coolest feature, in my opinion, here in a little bit. Show this all the way over and down. Square. If anyone knows why it keeps doing that, I would love to know myself. I'm using cedar, naturally rot resistant, hangs up, or holds up well outside. So. All right, so before I cut the rest of these parts, show you what I was talking about with that being the coolest feature of these. So on this tip here, you've got the little guide rails. And what that does, that makes it where you're able to add the glue just perfectly along the side there. I've found it's easiest, and I get the best miters when I nail these together before I nail them to the rest of the trellis. So I'm going to pop one end going both ways. All right. There we go. So now we got this. Let's see if I can bring you guys down a little bit closer. And then we're going to add glue to here, here, and here, or we can do it on there. I usually just add it on here. I think I might have to take that tip off for now. Yeah, there we go. Give me a little better control. Yeah, no, I jumped on the cedar picket craze. It makes it a lot more affordable to get back into woodworking. I spent the last few years, last 10 years doing woodworking or doing retail instead of woodworking. So moved, had to get rid of my gigantic scrap piles. So there we go. All right, so we got our first one. Let's go ahead. I need to cut another 20 of those, and then we'll nail the rest together and we'll be done. What projects are you guys working on right now? Machinery is the only hard win on a budget. Tools are definitely a premium. Most of this stuff is stuff I've bought over the years. So when you're cutting these, you're going to cut your first one like so. And then you're going to take and just slide it straight down. You want that miter to come across. Don't do that. You want them to look like that. The one on the top. I didn't quite like the fit for that one, so I'm just going to lightly move that stop block a little bit. All right. Bang out 20 of those real quick. I don't mind having knots on these too much, but I do try to avoid that as much as possible. But I'm just blowing through these strips. I think the last time I calculated, and when you start this from scratch, from pickets, your 6-inch picket, well, they're 5.5, but you can end up getting one of these out of 1 and like a half. Today, we're going to make something out of all this rock. I think the majority of the day, after I'm done building these orders, it's going to be spent just cleaning and organizing them. Pieces. Let's get it all nailed together. All right. So, really, the only thing while you're assembling these, pay attention to. Is I like to try to pick ones that were cut from the same strip. That way, their thickness is matching up. So just a helpful little tip. As handy as that is, I'm going to leave it off just because it's going to be easier than trying to hit every single other spot I got to glue. This is Titebond Exterior 3 wood glue that I'm using. Makes it good for going in the garden. I'll reconnect the nail gun. So probably what I'll do, got 3 in the chat now. Woo! You guys got any good projects you're working on? I'd love to hear about them. One of the things that's been the most inspiring lately is, I don't know, any of you guys are from Bearded Viking Woodworks. The live chat that guy has going is amazing. The community. Let me see if I can capture this a little better for you guys. I don't know if you can even see me nailing these together. Yes, please do smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, please do. I think all of you guys are. But if you're not, oh well. Basically, we're just going to butt these all up to the shape where I start up at the front. Make sure that lines up the very front. I've got to replace this nail gun. Even if I just go get myself another Harbor Freight. I don't know what is wrong with it, but randomly pops open all the time. And in fact, if you look, can you see the gap between but as of now, I'm making do with what I got. And I try not to worry too much about making these hit those spacers exactly. As long as it's touching along one of those spacers, I think eventually I will have to rebuild this jig, and when I do, these are going to be a smaller point, just a reference point, whereas I tried to make it a little bit too long there. Makes it kind of hard to line up a slightly crooked piece or whatnot. So one thing I do not like about doing these rustic cedar builds. So I used to make cabinets, so everything I make I want to be perfectly square, but that's just not a reality when you're working with rustic cedar or like barn wood. Short of planing, run it across the joiner. You guys starting to see it come together? You guys like the design? Soldier Farm, we are making a trellis. And yeah, Daniel's also one of the ones, I believe he's the first one that shouted me out too. Big part of why I'm able to go live. Great guy. My biggest worry is I definitely don't have the big personality that man does. But we'll get there. Normally kind of a quiet, reserved guy. I mentioned this in a couple of my shorts, but it shocked the shit out of my wife when I started making YouTube videos because I have not been on social media at all our entire relationship of 16 years. I don't take selfies. If she wants a picture with me, I'll take a picture with her. I've just never really seen the need to take a picture of just me. I've never seen the need for social media, but Daniel and other creators have yeah, definitely. I'm down to grow and support everybody. I want everybody to succeed. If you guys are not familiar with Soldier Farms LLC, give him a like and subscribe. I'm excited to one of these days take a day off completely. So I work 40 hours a week at Walmart, and then I come home, head out here, work on orders. Lately, been doing the YouTube thing. So unfortunately, as I've been meeting some of you guys, I haven't had a whole lot of time other than like a few minutes here and there at lunch breaks to catch up on your guys' videos and whatnot, but definitely will be soon. I did cut these just a hair long. I don't like the way those joints are fitting. Might have to pull that off of the. There we go. Soldier, thanks for joining. I don't know how many of you guys saw the beginning, but I do apologize. This is my very first live stream, so bear with me. I'm learning. We're working on a Chevron Pattern cedar trellis. We're getting pretty close. I'm exhausted. Me and the wife went out last night for date night. Went to Denver. I'm sure it wasn't that bad, soldier. Had you been here in the beginning, I actually popped the circuit breaker like a minute and a half in. I had to run outside and reset the breaker. We're gonna have to kick my compressor back on here pretty soon, guys. I'm sorry. You can hear the nail gun starting to run out of pressure. All right, got one more to go. I substitute teach full time, and I do wood shop in our homestead, and I write. I'll sleep when I'm old. I hear you. Sleep is for the weak. I think we got home, went to a friend's house for karaoke, and I think we didn't get home until like 3:40 in the morning. Hit up the Waffle House drive-through, or Waffle House on the way home. It's always interesting going into a Waffle House at 3 in the morning. All right. What is going on here? Last one does not want to pop into place. Before I force that into place, I'm going to add the glue on the other parts real quick. So, for those of you that just tuned in, good to see you, soldier. Thank you. Adding some glue here. Adding some glue here. Don't need a ton. The pin nails will do most of the heavy lifting, but all right. There we go. And then I'm going to pop one on each side here. One on the ends. All right. I can tell this is about ready to die. So happy as woodworks. Thanks for joining. Gonna kick on the compressor for one last time. Let it fill up so we can nail off the rest of this. And then we'll put a couple screws in the frame itself. And we should be done, guys. So bear with me for 2 seconds. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is putting a spin on it, your own spin on it. Because as you can see, I jumped on the planner craze a while back, like 2 years ago. Made a whole bunch of them, listed them, and obviously everyone else and their dog is making planners. I didn't really do anything different, so they just kind of sat there. Heading to town, myself wanted to stop in and say, hey, looks good. Gotta run, catch you later, definitely. Have a great day, man. All right, let's finish this up, guys. All right, so the glue on this one already. Lost my pencil holder. Yeah, shop cleaning is definitely number one on the list today. Gotta get this place clean. Tripping over stuff. Not even safe. Gotta get safe, y'all. Uncommon Woman, are you still in the chat? When I'm not recording and I'm just working on these, I believe I've got these down so I can make them in about 20 minutes. Selling them for about $50. Sometimes I'll give people a discount down to like 45 if they're ordering 4 or 5 of them at a time. And material wise, like I said earlier, I think I've got like a picket and a half into each one, plus a handful of nails. So, pretty good profit. Definitely better than those planners that I just mentioned. That's my own fault for ridiculously over engineering those. Can't really blame the project itself on that one. I wish, but that's on me. For sure. What do you got going on today? Anything fun? Any good projects going on, sir? Or Uncommon Woman? I think maybe today, later, if I can get things cleaned up, get orders knocked out, I might dig into doing a wood turning live. I think that would be fun. Do you guys want to see some wood turning? I've turned baseball bats, I've turned pins. One of the cooler projects I did was turn some spindles for an old schoolhouse that was being restored in the city of Levelland. House was like 150 years old. And somewhere along the line, some of the spindles on the front porch got damaged, so took a couple and made duplicates, got them painted up. And, all right, let's do it then. Let's get I make no promises on when, but sometime today, let's do some wood turning. We'll see what we can do. It's so wild to me that people actually take the time to tune into little old me. Very humbling. I'm nailing these here in the center. As you're shooting around that liner, I'm kind of trying to angle those a little bit. I think we only got 2 more to put down. We're almost done. What part of the country are you guys all located in? Northern Colorado here. I work in Fort Collins. That's going to be CSU, Colorado State University, the Rams. I don't know how familiar you guys are with them. They're not exactly a powerhouse football team. They were in the 90s. They had some good teams with Sonny Lubick. But I live down in Johnstown, about 45 minutes from Boulder, about a half an hour from Denver. Somewhere along the line. Now, gotta figure out where. That one's nailed. Just that side. See, I'm telling you, I gotta replace this fence. And apparently we can probably. Got jam. That's why it's not even the. There we go. Didn't seem like it was out. But all right. What is going on here? Merry Christmas. Oh, dummy. There we go. All right, last one, guys. All right. All right, now that I've got the whole thing assembled, I do run along, pop the second nail along this side and that side. Today, it's going to go dragging now. Truth be told, you'll probably see me use it for like another year and a half. Really wanting to get one of those cordless nailers. I hate the air hose. I hate the compressor. Does anybody have any experience with using any of the Ryobi nail guns? They're not too terribly priced. They're actually halfway decent. So I'll just roll up this air hose and get it out of the way so I'm not tripping on it. Because we are done nailing. We're just going to throw a few screws in it. And then we shall be done. That one person left. Thank you for saying. Let's see here. We're also going to charge drill batteries today. That would probably be a helpful part of Alive is having working tools. All right, here we go. So, I'll bring you guys a little bit closer for this. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a screw here, here, and over in that corner. And I'll pop the screw and here as well. Here is not going to get one, and over here is not going to get one, just because that's where the legs bolt on. countersink a hole there. So when you're nailing that part of the frame, I always try to shoot a little bit high so I can still center this. Drill through it like I just can't go very deep on these at all. If you're working with that 5/8 material. If you're lucky. Little itty bitty baby deck screws. I honestly don't know what you would use an exterior screw for that small. I really don't understand why they make these, but they work perfect for this. So not complaining, just confused. I mean, maybe you could use them to attach something, but they're only 1 inch. It's not going to go through much. Just a hair more. I have overdone this into jig itself, screwed it down to the jig. It's never helpful. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you guys adding the legs right now. Did just get a message. My wife is finally up. So I'm going to go check in with her as soon as I finish this off. We'll pull it out of the jig and do a reveal for the loyal person who's still in here. All right. Who is the last one in here? We got one person left in here. You're apparently the biggest fan. All right. So when I do go to take these out of the jig, it is a tight fit. That's intentional. We want it to be a tight fit. So we just start at one end, on one side, start working our way around. Okay, move to the middle a little bit. Work the way back down. Gotta be patient. Something that's not my strong suit. There we go. Let's see if we can get a better view over here. Extra. But yeah, there you have your 6-foot Chevron Pattern cedar trellis. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I appreciate it. I probably will be live again, or at least releasing some other shorts. I'm gonna start working on doing more editing and hopefully doing some live stream, or not live stream, long form content of builds similar to this or whatever. All right, thank you guys. Have a great day. You're the best thing coming.